Thanks, guys. Thank you for having me. And it's kind of embarrassing to stay in front of that. I think that I'm amazing because I'm here and not in Denver already. Yes. And I was asked to talk like the topic selected. Like when I asked what would be the audience, and I was told that the audience are mostly developers. I was like, oh, and I'm going to talk like to the developers about this, but already started some talks. I think that I might be relevant for you because the topic I was asked to clear for you is what enterprises expect from a crypto market and how to reach enterprises successfully. And because of my position, because I'm leading blockchain department at EPAM, and I guess nobody knows what EPAM is, but EPAM is a big system integrator. And we have the presence in many countries in the world, and we're doing the traditional system integration work, which means that we're doing IT. And we are recognized of being a good engineers. And I'm leading the blockchain vertical there, which means that we're delivering blockchain projects. And our market position is we are between worlds. Because we did quite some of the projects for the crypto market and for you guys or for your friends, and in some countries we did near, we did something for Ton, and we are doing this stuff. And you can bear us and our engineers because of our engineering skills, where they're not totally bad. Like, I mean, if you will work with the Indian guys from Accenture, you probably would cry or would say, oh shit, how? And we are bearable. But enterprise loves us because we get skills from you, and our engineers get skills from you, and you like us because we can give you predictable delivery. Because you mostly like, or probably not you, but you're part of that, and most of known for us engineers are not really predictable. Like we are, like when they're calling, like when we're talking with your management or with the startup founders, it's normally a bunch of the cowboys who are excellent in skills, in math and something. But when somebody asks you about the estimations and when it would be ready, and especially how quality would be and all of that, that's just lacking, and that's enterprises cannot bear. And we can help you extend the services so enterprises. And here, that's how we know, because our main bread and butter, now, being honest, for me, the projects with the startups, they're peanuts. They're getting skills for my people. And then I can send those people to enterprises. And then they're nicely shaped, because we do have all the necessary services to sell those engineers. And that's what I'm going to speak, like basically that's why I'm relevant, why I know how it works. So when you are the normally startups, they have you are vendors. You have a solution which you want to be used. And you either go to the public market, which means that it's peer-to-peer services, and you have to run your services over the mainnet, and it's either level 2, either services around this. But sometimes vendors want enterprises to use their services when it's a security, when it's a development, when you are doing the wallets, when you are doing whatever infrastructure projects and something. And how? And normally how it happens, that's the CEO talks to somebody, means the local business lead of the certain enterprise. And now I'm going to bother you and be annoying. How do you think? What do they expect to hear from CEO to be able to buy? They have money, they need service, they want to buy, and there is a guy who is saying, we have that. Any ideas? What do they want to hear?
Depends on the culture and country. It's different in Germany and different in Russia, Belarus, and that part, that part of the negotiations and pre-sale, it's totally different.
Can you find any similarities? If we are looking not in the exact wordings, but what they really need.
Request for proposal.
Oh, request for proposal. What can they do? It's a title. What should be inside?
Add-on value for both sides.
Yes. First, they want to see is what is the case, what guys you are selling, what we would be able, what business we're running around this. And the first thing is a use case. Who are the clients of like to whom we would be able to sell that, or how it will extend our services. So request for proposal is the title, what to put in a request for proposal. Because the majority of the CEOs of the startups who are coming to the buying party started to speak about how wonderful their solution is. Those who listen to them normally have no clue what the solution and why it can be very wonderful, but why do I need it? What I'm buying. And first, what you like, if you are not able to say clearly for what your solution is suitable and how they will benefit of having your solution, there is no discussion. Because that's where everything starts. First is kind of a use case. And for me, for example, when those enterprises are coming to me, their main question is, tell us about the use cases you can do. And for me, I'm normally laughing, say, come on, I'm an engineer. You, as a business, tell me what you need, where are your pain points. And I will facilitate, I will introduce the vendors to you. But when you are offering services to enterprises, you should know surroundings. You should know what is your service and how they would be beneficial, how it would be beneficial for them to consume your service and to offer that to the generic market. You should be able to understand what is their business, what are their clients, and how are their clients would be benefiting of them having your solution. Without that, there is no discussion. There are a lot of questions around that, but that's like, I'm not going to read that. What is the next question? When you are able to protect what are you selling, what would be the next question? Remember, that's the business. You are talking to guys who probably dump on a technical level, but they are running business successfully. If they enterprise, that means that they're able to earn a lot of money.
Security.
That's the technical stuff.
How much they spend for that?
That's like unwrapping that. Then first we started with the use case. What? Then question how much. But this how much unwrapping, it's a business case. First it was use case. What are we doing? Then how much does it cost? How much we would be able to earn? How much we need to spend on that? And how quickly we are going to earn? Again, none of the discussions with the business possible without those two parts. What we are buying and how we would earn money if we are buying that. And you should be able to clear that very nicely for them. And that's actually the most tricky point. Because normally, while you are behind your solution, you understand why you're creating this solution. But the ability to quantify the business case, that's the difficult one. Because they need to know, not in an abstract, you would earn money. They need to know how much, how quickly. And normally, like you started with the part how much they will spend. That's the part, that's normally the only part which startup know. Because you know how much you want to be paid, and that's what you are going to announce. Nobody's going to pay you if they don't know how much they will earn of buying you. So you need to explain it to them. Or you need to work with them so they will understand that. Because I could imagine that for startup it's very difficult. But if you are able to do that, you would be much more successful than others. Because when you're coming with the quantifiable business case, that's clear for the, like, they're not going to invest in you, they're going to buy, yes? So they need to understand for what. Next one. Like, you see, almost all screen is already filled. I will send the slides, don't worry. Which means that it's not that much of the business discussion left. Like if you are here, that means that you are already reasonably good. If it still didn't kick you and didn't disappear in the discussion, that means that you are going in the right direction. What else?
Maybe deliverable and deadlines.
And the risks. If you can quantify the risks, that's a big thing for enterprise.
That's the deeper discussion. Risks you are normally discussing when they're ready to pay. Before that, they need to understand if they're able to pay you. And here, because we all are in a crypto space, they're the most tricky questions. And those I will help you, because this is, enterprise, they do not work in a vacuum. And that's the biggest difference. You don't understand how enterprise work. To be able to pay you, first of all, they need to be sure that it's legal. Because some of the things, especially around crypto, are still illegal to do. Also, they need to know that in the time frame they're dealing with you, like none of the enterprises are able to pay within a week or within 2 weeks. You need to be prepared. Normally, the time frame is like, it's never faster than a month, but normally it takes 3 months that you will get your money after the signing the contract. And you have somehow, like if you are dealing with the enterprise, it means that it's a public company. When there is a public company, it means like the table will have action. It means that they are acting in a regulated space. That means that your company have to be able to have business of them, and they have to be able to get, like, besides the fact that you have to do the legal business, it means that your documentation, your legal part and your legal existence needs to be proved. Otherwise, even if they are already willing to work with you, they're not able to. And then most of the public companies have to prove that they're dealing with you because you are the best one at the market. And for that, they need to do the research. And for that, they're also doing the credibility check or something when they need to look at your history, which means that it's nice that then you are able to show that your company is created not yesterday. Had some history, had other customers, because this all would be checked by enterprise. And this all is a part of their legal reviews of having the proper contract. And you have to count for that. Majority of the startups, they don't expect this, like you call it bureaucracy, you call it as a headache and how to work with them. But that's the only way to work with them. And you need to respect that. But if you are getting, like you better prepare that. And when you're coming to talk to enterprise and showing you the business part and motivating them to work with you, if you are helping them with their administration, they would be much more willing to work with you. Because, trust me, nobody likes this administration part. And if it can be simplified, that would be nice. So if you prepare that, or if you do this, that's good. And another thing, it's nowadays, like depending of like in which country, that was a nice one, but in a majority of the countries where enterprises of the size which is attractive for you to work with, you would be asked the very strange questions. And those very strange questions, that's the common world agenda. I mean, I don't know if you've been in situations with the discussions, like, well, your Ethereum community. Very frequently, enterprises accuse Ethereum community that you are guys not green. And for majority of us, we are laughing on that, yeah? Because, come on, what are you coming with us with this green electricity, yes? Because enterprise is kind of slow in digesting. Majority of them have no clue about a merge. Majority of them have no clue, but they still, read the marketing articles. Marketing articles saying that the Bitcoin is terrible and guys who are who are selling the weapon and the drugs are using Bitcoin, and the guys who are Ethereum, they are killing the earth because of the consumable, like the electricity, and that's. You have to be prepared to answer those questions. And to answer that using language enterprise is able to digest. But it's nice when you do the homework and like how you will be going to answering those ESG questions and all those questions about how, like, about the legality of like your background, and about like another one which is really killing me every time, because like almost every director, almost every C1 will say, what about these people who are complaining that they lost all their crypto in one day or something? Think about this. Think how you're going to answer that. Yes, there was other stupid questions, but to be serious and to come, like this one makes that kind of them motivated to work with you. Then your preparation, your homework will make you a reliable party to talk further. And you are going to establish the good contacts with them, because if you're going to have the business with them, you will speak regularly with them. You will be reporting to them, or you would be like extending your business, because after the first contact, you would like to extend, and you would like them to recommend you. And on that level, like if you are ticking all those boxes, you're kind of good. And then the question between CEO and the business buyer, you would never talk with the CEO of enterprise. You would never even see that. You would be lucky to have the business owner to buy. And actually, by the majority of like vendors, your goal is to reach this business level. Because when the business motivated, those people who have money, technical guys, they normally don't have money. And the biggest mistake of all the founders, all the startups, when you sell to the technical people, they're not decision makers. They can recommend you. It's majority they can, like it's a maximum they can do. But business, those are people who are buying. So those one are most important. But the next step would be, like, let's see, you succeed. And then there's a part where your CTO, or whatever, who does this type of the work, is going to talk to IT guys. And here, like the first surprise is there's no one IT guy and enterprise. You will go and talk to many, many people. And you need to know what to tell them, what they expect from you on the technical level. It means that they're ready to buy. Then they're checking of how they're going to do that and how you're going to work with them. And then again, what do you think? Like here, I heard some technical stuff. Give me some ideas what the technical people in enterprise would like to hear about your service or about your solution or about your product.
If it's something new, like new service, we don't have it. For example, we don't do like transferring web from web to some existing service. So if it's same, how it differs, how it's like benefit to me. If I move to Web 3 from Web 2,
well, you normally don't move to Web 2. Like you don't move. You normally enable Web 3. Like, I mean, you do not decommission something when something new is not working.
Yeah,
and like you have like what? Probably like when you're speaking about the web services, try to think about like, well, we are a product company. Like, I mean, we are something like the packaged goods, like Hugo Boss, whatever, selling either clothing, either toys. We're selling something like, I mean, and we have Web 2 and we want Web 3. And you talk to IT department, and there would be various people in IT department, what they want to know about your solution or what they want to hear, and the enterprise.
Integration.
Good. How? It's an important question. How what you bring us will fit to what we already have. And that's very important, because none of the solution exists in a vacuum. When enterprise, like, try to imagine, like, about think about any enterprise company, you know, Coca-Cola, some bank. Try to think what IT, what complexity of IT they have inside. And like any company, any enterprise company has multiple solutions which count goods or services they offer. Then they have the solutions which count money. Then they have solutions which count people and maintain data about the people. And then if they have the different countries, they have payroll, they have jurisdictions in the different countries, reporting stuff, and all of this. Like, you all the technical people, you imagine the complexity even of infrastructure behind this. And then you are bringing them something new to their huge pile. So they're thinking how you're going to integrate. When that's about integration, they also would ask questions about the master data, because we do have corporate data. How you're going to use that, even if you are totally separate, even if you are totally new and almost in a vacuum, you still need, like, every solution will still need to report to corporate accounting. How we will get that? And you still need to get the corporate, addresses and something. How? And when it's web, that means that it somehow need to fit our corporate styles or to be on our corporate hosting. So yes, that's very important. I don't know in which order that's going to, but IT normally, yes, they are interested in money too, because they are onboarding something. And when it's onboarding encrypted, it means we're onboarding a bunch of the new technology we have no clue about. And they're like, tell us, like, okay, business told us that we have to buy from you. Tell us how much we need to pay you and for what. And then they started to ask, hosting, storage, licenses, how you are doing that, and the last ones, like, if you're going to bring something, it has to work in enterprise. That means that our engineers, for example, needs to be able to recognize if it's working or not. And when our customers will call us, we have to answer something. How are we going to do this? Like, you are bringing me something totally new. I never tried that. I don't have resources. How are you going to achieve that? And here, most of the startups are out of the business because you do support of your services? You all think that we have the software, we will ship it to you, and you will be happy with that. And enterprise is like, thanks for this wonderful gift. And how I supposed to manage that? I never seen any engineer who is able to understand the Solidity code. And you are selling me the solution which has a bunch of this Solidity. How I would be able at least to understand? And if somebody will call me, where I will go? And you need to prepare the answers for that. And especially, because if I will have the bunch of the Hyperledger guys in front of me, I will know what to answer, how to help you to answer this question. But if I have the Ethereum guys, I will say okay, and what are you going to say about the support? Are you going to do it yourself with your own workforce? Or who is going to? And then think about enterprise. Even if you're able to pass further, they're thinking about every new addition to their application landscape, and I'm using enterprise terminology, yeah? How it will survive over the years. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. How you do your release management. How you will let us know that there are new versions, how we will obtain new versions. Are you going to charge us for those new versions? And that's the top of the iceberg. Because you think about your solution like you sell and you forget. And they're thinking about we buy and it needs to survive next 80 years. Are you going to survive next 60 years? Are you going to promise me how you do your release management, how we at least will let know, how you will train us, how you will support us. What about bugs? If we will find bugs, and we will find bugs, we have like every enterprise knows, we worked so many years, we know that all the software solutions we buy are buggy. What are we doing with bugs? Tell us where to call. What are you going to answer them? That's the very important question. And when you are selling to enterprise, you have to either to have a partners, either to have you have to have a good answer where they would go if they have issues. Also, a lot of experienced enterprises would also say us how we are going to migrate from your solution in the future. I mean, you will die in a month or in 2 or in 3 years. What are we going to do with that? How? And you are part of the ecosystem. And that's what is expected from the ecosystem. That's what I'm constantly talking to Ethereum ecosystem. Guys, you have to talk to each other. You have to work with each other because there are enough solutions. There are people who are offering products, services, know each other. Ethereum has so many events. There's a DevCon, there are all the AdCons and something. Every startup owner, every founder has to know what are other startups which are complementary to our services. Because when you are coming with a solution that has a bunch of the smart contracts in a public network, while you're selling that to enterprises, you can say, by the way, those guys can offer you live monitoring of your smart contracts. And that those guys can do for you the backup, or those guys can do the hosting for you, and those guys can manage the infrastructure. If you are not going to do that yourself, and if you are not going to enable enterprise to do it, you also can offer them the training, saying, okay, and those guys can train your developers how to support that, and work with them. And then the whole ecosystem will flourish. But being one saying, okay, that's the nice spec public solution in the public network, get it. I doubt you can find any enterprise who are saying, okay, we are happy with this wonderful gift. Because they have to survive with that. And also try to understand that the IT of enterprise is a very complex structure. Basically, the IT guys, where they have the developers, the security guys for them, that's a separate service. And they are normally not they know each other. If they are friends, that depends. And the operational guys, that's the third part. So when you are already in a project, means that you are getting money, you have to be sure that the implementation of your solution, that the security guys are involved and the operational guys are involved. Because what you want, you must understand that when you have customers, you want the happy customers. And you want those customers to love you. If you will give something to the IT department, which will buy that, and then they're screwed, and it's buggy, and they cannot support that, and the security is not offering that, it means that IT spent money, business expects something from them, and you cannot help them at all. They will hate you, and they will not return to you. And you want to establish the good relationships, which means that you have to help them to succeed. And for that, you have to know all those answers. And there are a lot of that. Because, this one is important one, which normally expensive for the startups, which can be you at least need to realize that and speak with the enterprise and to be able to develop something on your side, to be with them, to understand them. And here, the most tricky part for the product or for the service solution is, okay, you have your first enterprise client. You are managing with them, you're succeeding. And then you have a second enterprise client. And the first enterprise client wants to go one direction, and the second one wants to go another direction. What are you going to do? Are you going to fork your code? How are you going to do release management if they ask one functionality and they ask another functionality? That's called product strategy. That's called roadmap. And you'd better know how you are going to handle that before you get the first enterprise client. Like, at least you have to have an idea, because if you're going to double your development, then you're going to double the development, and like, you know, you have 2 enterprises, it seems to be that you have money, you're going to double your development and develop 2 separate projects. If you are going to have 1 product, that's the point where you need to maintain your roadmap and strategy and communicate that with the enterprise very well. Basically, saying no to enterprise when they demand certain functionality. That's a tricky thing. And normally, I've seen quite some of the designer startups who are able to do so, saying like, we have our own identity and we are going with that. With the developers, and especially in crypto space, I've seen less people able to do so, unless you are very successful with having no enterprise customers, which means that we have the huge user base and a lot of investments, like, and a lot of doing with the private customers, means you're DeFi. Yeah. And if you're like, but if you want the enterprise to bank on your product, means that you have a product or service which is targeting for enterprises. And here you have to have a product strategy, and you have to understand how it's going to be. And that's, you know, it's not a development skill. Normally, developer itself doesn't know, and he doesn't think in this category, which means that you have to have a product people. And those product people, they actually help you on a previous slide. They can help you to articulate the use case and to understand who are your user and how you're serving users. That's the same people who think about what would be the next version of your product. But you at least need to have those people in a team, which is like, who, like, do you, like, I want to see the hands. Who have the product owner in a team? I see 1, 2, 3, good. Are those people good? That's like, I mean, I'm happy to see that in Ethereum ecosystem, because I've seen a lot of startups who are doing the wonderful technical stuff. Like, I mean, the algorithms, everything is a perfect one. The polished code, almost no bugs and something. But when you're asking what's next, they normally don't know. And that's the cause of also the bad architecture. Because it can be perfect for the moment, but remember, it still needs to survive 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And here the product people can help you. Like, I mean, yes, for crypto market, that's, we were speaking about that over the dinner, saying that, okay, if you're a developer in the crypto space, for 5 years, you make enough money, then you retire and enjoy the life. But those people do not sit on the meetups how to sell to enterprises, because they're not interested at all in this case. So we are looking like, well, the integration kind of there. Then we still like, I heard about the security, yes? Like security guys and architecture guys, I mean, you won't be able to start development for enterprise if the, I would say, enterprise architect would sign your project. Normally, how the projects enterprise are done. Like, there is an intricate structure, but at the end, there is a business person who is creating the project request. And it's within the enterprise company. And the business person protects, with your help, with the help of your CEO, this business request inside the company and gets the corporate money. And that's where the project starts. And you do have the project set up, and normally when you're working to enterprise, you can ask about the project documents, at least to look what they expect and how their internal responsibilities, how their internal reporting. Because most likely they will expect from you like the weekly or monthly updates, and you need to know in what terms they're reporting to their management. What is their steering committee? In other words, yes, they have a steering committee where your business owner would be reporting of how you're going, how you're spending the corporate money. And when you get this project set up and you know how much they're going to spend or something, then they're going to the enterprise architect. And those enterprise architect needs to sign that you have the space in a enterprise application landscape. And what is your space? And what are the architecture principles you have to satisfy? And here there come in the wonderful words like the cloud first and something like this. And the practical information out of this, like sometimes it's beautiful words, but you would know what is your cloud, how where the security parameters stored, how they rotated and something. Majority of the startups, sorry to say that, you understand where to store the keys and how to store the keys of the clients. But the overall security of your solution deployment, very frequently lacking, because you don't understand what the enterprise, like normally you do have your DevOps guys who are pretty sure that you're managing everything, but they forget that, for example, the administration keys also needs to be rotated, also needs to be stored properly, also needs to be accessible for the other parts of the company. This part normally you develop during the implementation because you need it to fit to the enterprise landscape. Another nice part is they're asking you how we are going to scale a solution. Okay, we have this setup, but what if we have 10 more times users? How you propose us to do with that? How? And they'll look into that and say, our strategy is actually different. Can you help us to match it? Or there are quite some of the questions which would be coming to you on a level before enterprise architect signs that you can go there. Normally you have to tick the boxes, and they have those boxes. It's different by the company, depends on what they already have on the plate. But the main, the questions are security parameters, where they are stored, how they are managed, because they normally have their own solution. Another one is master data. Means that we have certain corporate parameters which you have to obtain. And not only the data itself, but also the data formats. We store that at the timestamp and something in a certain formats you have to adapt to. Because in all our reporting, it's like this. Either you have to connect to our ETL solution to convert it every time. Either and in the same, here your CTO or your architect will align with that, and finally you will obtain the signature of the enterprise architect, which initially will sound for you like a bunch of the strange high-level words. At the end would be landed in quite some of the technical requirements which would be applicable for your solution if it's not SaaS. If they're just going for you for the certain IP address, that's another thing. And then they will ask you how they maintain that, how they will be sure that you're always answering on this address. And you are answering with the expected outcome. But if it's the technical solution, they will ask you how to manage that. And then there would be the most tricky part, for the implementation people, I guess, for the people who are sitting here. Because there would be security guys who would be asking you about the attestation, about the monitoring, about the logging, how does it fit. And they have corporate monitoring and logging solutions. And you will have to supply information for them because they're not going to change their logging and monitoring because of you. No, because if they're sizable, they have their maintenance and support department, which is basically the room where there are people, they're 24/7, there are screens there, they're beeping, they're showing something, but your solution needs to be onboarded for that. And normally your developers needs to basically, when the enterprise has a strong IT, means that you just needs to give them API and the data formats, and they will do everything themselves. That would be the cost for the overall project. It would be cost for enterprise, but that's easy for you. In some cases, we'll say, no, we tell you our API, and you develop the services, microservices, which will report. And then you will have to bend. And the worst one, which will come the last, and you better call them the first, are the guys who sign for operations. Because you passed all of that. Your solution is working. You passed the testing, you passed the user acceptance, you persuaded business, like, look, the wrong thing, and then I will tell you a story, which is like user acceptance, yeah? You all who are behind your technical solution think that the client is interested to do the user acceptance and to check the solution. I once was a project manager who was deploying the solution for KLM website. And you could imagine that the KLM is a website, prices of the tickets is something important, that I was a junior project manager who was thinking that they interested to test. And we did the solution, then we ran the UAT. We didn't pass UAT because the quality was lacking. And I thought that, okay, then I'm coming to the steering committee and say, well, we need to extend UAT for another month. We will fix the bugs. When I came to the steering committee, I said, we're going live tomorrow. I was like, how? Like, it's buggy. They say, yes, but your development services cost this much, and your support services cost 50% of that. No, we're going live today, and then you will fix everything for the half of the price. You have to be prepared for that. Business always counts their money. And either, there are different styles in enterprise business, but when they, the operational department is the most tricky to sell your services. Because they will say, oh, we have the people who needs to know your solution, you need to present, you need to teach us, and you need to reserve time to teach them what is going to be. And either you need to pass the skills, either you need to have this supporting part on you, and they will call you and bother you, and unfortunately, without those guys signing your solution, you cannot go live, which means that your client cannot benefit and get everything which we were speaking on the first thing. It is still enterprise, yes? And when you obtain the wonderful, when your business owner will obtain the wonderful signature that you can go to operations, then appear to be like the go live date, and then normally the enterprise will have, they call it differently, they call it cutover, they call that gray period or something. Your solution is going to get the real users. And normally you are entitled as a vendor to support them going live for a certain period of time because, they still new, they still don't used to your solution, and so your developers has to be available and have to support them going live. We always we all just needs to be happy because they decided to go live. And enterprise normally, I've seen the solutions which are going live months. Depends on the amount of the users, depends on their strategy of going live. Are they going with the internal users? It depends actually on your service, what you're going to do, yes? But still, it needs to be planning, it needs to be cut over, and you still needs to be involved. And when you're remember, yes, the cost, and initially business case, all those services, you need to count for them. If they will come as a surprise for you, which means that you will get less money. You, working with enterprise, you will need to understand that all those steps will take place. And for all those steps, you need to discuss the pricing, you need to discuss your services, otherwise you're screwed. And actually, when enterprise is talking to startup, they have no clue that you don't know. Because what they work, they used to, everybody knows that we work like this. And you need to ask in advance. And sometimes, you're scared to ask because it seems to be that you're asking for more money. But when you don't, that means you will not get this money. And they will expect you to provide the work, and then you will have the tough discussion at the end. And that's the maintaining of the relationships. When you're going to discuss that, when you're going to price for that, but you have to have in mind that it will happen. And that the go live is not no, they plan for that, they have extra people, they train people, it's going. And then there is a gray period, and then, I still remember, Web 2 to Web 3, when both are existing, that's a good thing. When one needs to be decommissioned, that's another thing. Because again, that's probably you won't be involved in that because you didn't create this part. But it will affect the business case. It will still, the whole money which business user obtained to the dealing with you, the part of that will go for those guys who are decommissioning something which is existed. And you need to be aware about this. Well, at the end, it might be not your business, not your board, and then a business owner will deal with that. But at least you have to be aware that it's happening, or at least you need to know because it's a risk management. There's this risk management part of this. And yeah, the last thing which I'm speaking about the risk management is you always have to keep those risks for yourself. And if you have the good relationships with the business owner, discuss it frequently. Because, again, speaking about the hidden cost, you will talk to them frequently if that's enterprise. You will spend your own precious time if you are the CTO or CEO, or if you are if you have the biggest startup, if you are the project manager there, or you're a project manager, you're implementation project manager. Enterprise, unfortunately, needs a lot of information about ongoing project. And you think that it's a stupid bureaucracy, but for them, it's how they sign the money. Normally, enterprise for every implementation project have stage gates, and you have to unlock the next part of the payment to you, you have to pass a stage gate. Passing the stage gate, you have to prepare a report, you have to speak about it, means a lot of time speaking. Means preparation time, means doing the presentations which you're not used to do. And for them, they're simply not able to bypass that because their stakeholders will expect it from you. That's actually it for now, and that's the part of the content, which is basically what I try to do is just expose this wonderful world of the enterprise companies and how they do their business to the people who used to work for the startups or who works to be independent software professionals. So I'm here to answer the questions. If you are interested in this aquarium of how enterprises live, I can give you some extra information if you have questions.
This is why they buy IBM, right? Because IBM has all this stuff.
That's why they buy services from us, for example, because we know your solutions, we can work with you, and we can protect you from all those, because we have the salespeople who can wear the proper clothing to them, and we know how to talk to a steering committee. Simply, we have templates to report to steering committee with all those red, amber, green. We know what to say, we know what to ask, we know how to deal with the security, and we can wrap that. Basically, the system integration work is the work of wrapping the vendor stuff to be suitable for enterprises. And it means wrapping on all levels, on a technical level to get all the microservices for monitoring, for integration, or for the APIs or something. And also wrapping your communications and reporting, delivery management, and something. And that's basically our bread and butter. How we survive, basically. We also do sometimes solutions where, products, or sometimes clients want to have the product development in-house, but rarely. Less and less, and especially guys, I can say Java development or something like that. They do extension of their existing products. I do not know many enterprises who are motivated to do the products on the Ethereum ecosystem. They can play with that. Normally, their innovation departments means that buckets of $50K per 3 months are doing some kind of the play. But in terms of introducing services to their users, they normally do not take this responsibility. They're actually looking for the vendors to provide them their services, but they would like to have the service. Means come to them with the guys who will do the security audits. Come to them with the guys who will do the live monitoring of your contracts. If you will come to them and to explain to them how they are going to live with all this new world, they would love you. That's the key.
I'm
usually takes to close a deal with all those steps?
Half a year.
Yeah,
Half a year.
something like that.
More.
Okay, and one more question. What is the biggest enterprise you know that implemented Web3 successfully to their customers? Because I know
How you
so much
how you like how you think about like biggest in terms of what?
whatever.
What?
Any the best case you know that
Biggest name.
implemented Web3.
Adidas.
Whatever.
Adidas.
Adidas.
Nike. Nike with all those communities and all those NFTs and all those fights for the new sneakers. Like when Nike, I think in terms of like, you know, biggest in terms of money, it's strange because, for example, Dolce & Gabbana invested huge and who needs those NFTs? And when we're speaking about Web3, I think Nike would be the really nice case because they used Web3 for the purpose of Web3. They understand how it works. They build it a community, then they introduce it a community, and they use it for purpose. I like their case, and we are usually using that teaching other enterprises how to use that. And when you say Web3, I mean, I'm not thinking now about crypto, yes? Because like when we're speaking about the investments and the money-related projects, there are bigger projects. But if we're speaking about the Web3 services, and again, guys, I'm not talking to you about the Asian ones. Because in Asia, Web3 is native. Like if you will go to the Korea, if you will go to Hong Kong and something, like I mean, I have in my mobile the bunch of, like, we have the marketplace for Web3 services. And all those WeChats with the shops and something. Like, for me, I'm in Hong Kong. I do have this MyLink application, which has underlying, like, decentralized database of the service underneath. And everyone introduces the services there. Everyone introduces these, you know, the self-evolving bears and all the telcos. And basically the key here, like if you're asking about the mass adoption, yeah, the telco company gives you, with the SIM card, the application where you register your SIM card, and that's immediately create your account and create your wallet. And then it started to beeping, blinking, offering you services, offering you loyalty, and all of this. You have no clue that there is a decentralized ledger underneath of that. But it's all like you're passing the mall, and it tells you, oh, by the way, you can buy the coffee for those points. Or suddenly, I was talking like suddenly, like my, like I'm doing some dancing, and my dancing teacher says, by the way, you can pay the part of your monthly fee by those points. They simply introduces the service, and there are WYSIWYGs to do this, and that means mass adoption. Because like everybody is using that, there's a ledger, and has no clue that it's blockchain. They don't care. They care about their services, about the whole bunch of these telco customers, almost the whole country, and metro tickets. And together with the metro tickets, while you're waiting the train, then there's a scheduler, then they return you some points. Like, totally, like the kids much more native to that. I'm lost. I have the sounds of those points, and sometimes when it's blinking, I'm thinking, okay, I can cut the cost. But it's all of Web3. And that's now it started to also have all these advisors, AI, in terms of the design, in terms of adding you, like when you are taking the video, that started to add some, you know, additional video improvements, video filters, and it's always using points. At the end, that's the marketplace and a big bond ecosystem wide, where that's easy to introduce the new services. And I would say that in Asia, that's already happened. We have all our life in our mobile phones, and much more than I can consume in my life. But in Europe and then in America, it's the next step. And that's where, for example, you guys in the Ethereum ecosystem can look. It's basically enabling ecosystem services, easiness of introducing new user services. And the nice examples. And then to use the marketing guys to make it viral. We had like for China, you know, Chinese New Year, we had in Minecraft, when you are running there, finding these red envelopes, they're getting you money, and then you can use it in the central land and something. It's all connected. And it's all was the games when you just like, come on, it's even here. And yeah, this is, you know, sometimes you are on a Ethereum event and you can see those weird guys who are offering their services, and sometimes they should. And the key for the ecosystem is to have this all connected. And I'm not saying now, because it will take years to have the same API. You don't need it. You need the data storage, which you already have. You have level 1. You have your contracts, you can get the data, and then just introduction of services tools, that's it.
It's an interesting angle because the way I see it's not a community thing, because Ethereum has a great community of people who are connected by ideas and builders and so on and so forth. It's just that the entire crypto, and crypto is the thing that's pulling Web3. Web3 is barely anything without crypto. I guess enterprise blockchains and stuff. But it was chasing something else, because the token is the product. The token is the product which makes billions right now, and not so much. But we need to go past that. So
you will still need to explain to the market why they need a token. And for a lot of crypto projects, that's a struggle. And basically, you better introduce the service and a value than the token. And nobody cares what the token underneath that. I mean, nobody cares about the name of the token. For you, that's difficult because, well, everybody who thinks about the token thinks about, like, well, first we define the token, then we're thinking how to distribute it, how to persuade people to have that. That's a bad idea. Introduce the service, and they want to use the service, and for that they need a token.
Preaching to the choir here. This is not the room. It's just like we have a very interesting psychosis that may be subsiding for a while, which is, no, the token is the product. The product is the shitcoin itself. Everything else, all of this is 2 trillion and this is 200 billion trillion.
That's why.
But I'm very interested in actually building things that people will use. So maybe something like this can actually be much better than what we have right now.
Guys, that's why ecosystem and where it is, and enterprise where it is. Because remember where we started. Enterprise thinking about the use case first. Who needs that? And why? They don't even start to move. They don't start even to discuss the business case before they understand the use case, size of the market, and what is going to be. And only after that there is a discussion. Unfortunately, the technical guys, in the majority, are thinking about, we have a hammer, where is a nail? And that's the problem we are solving for years. Because we first invented the technology, then we started to think how to apply that. Normally, business works differently. Business has a problem or idea, and then thinks what technology will satisfy that. We, unfortunately, like majority of you are coming from, we know the technology. Nobody, like on the first slide, I had this one. Nobody cares that there is a certain decentralized ledger beneath that. They care about the service. They care about the product, what they would be able to tell their customers, what they would be able to achieve. Nobody cares that this Ethereum is in beneath or any decentralized ledger. If it works, it works. If it's not, then not. So on this stage, you are not even coming that you're a crypto company. You better not say that, because in many, many countries, there are the superstitions, like when you are saying that you are blockchain, you have to overcome all those superstitions. You have to explain all of that. And if you are coming that your customers would be able to do this, this, and this, and by the way, their kids sitting in the prams would be able to play with that while they're doing shopping, they will say, that makes sense. And how you will make it happen will come on the next stage, where we're already motivated to talk to you. And you cannot come to them saying, we have a nice, unless you're selling to IT. And when you are selling to IT services, for example, we are selling DevOps scalable infrastructure for the certain stuff, then you can sell there. But again, even for those guys, you start with the business value. You start with your IT is struggling and here, and either they recognize that and say, yes, our IT is struggling. Or they say, no, sorry, our IT is not struggling, then we are not talking to you. It always starts with the business. And to come with them with the idea that we solve your problems and we don't have a problem. Yeah. More questions? More ideas? No, I guess we had a nice time.
Yeah. Thank you, Sasha. This was really insightful.
I have another one which is like, come on, I need to go further because basically what like we started at the beginning that we have a community or something. Guys, we actually going to have right ETH Belgrade, we are going to have 5 days of online conference. It means it's online. You're all invited. Some of you already presented of our conference last year, and we are opening call for speakers. If you are professionals in the ecosystem, if you are vendors, if you want actually enterprises also to know about your services, about your business products, come to us to present. We have 5 days, and we have the different topics, and that's here, which topics we have. But I'm sure, I'm designing that, I'm sure that we can fit any topic inside if it's about. So I will leave it like this. If you want to come to us to speak, we would love it. And you have a nice environment because we have the people from enterprises, we serve enterprises, and they used to listen to us. I mean, you know that there are like the people who connect you to funds and to investors. We are to connect you to enterprises because we are trying to basically, it's my own probably pain when we have the developers. Those developers need to talk in the ecosystem to understand. And you probably have less problem because your developers are Ethereum developers. My developers are developers of everything. And they have to be able to do Ripple, they have to be able to do the Ethereum, they have to be able to do Hyperledger. And I'm trying to keep them relevant, which means that I want them to talk to you and to the other guys and something. And that's why we are doing the community. That's why we are inviting more and more people in the community. That's why we have it's probably the only blockchain professionals, not investors community, which is across the technologies. That's why the people from enterprise and enterprise IT sending their developers to us, to the community, saying, read there, listen there, look there, because that's their source of the information. Otherwise, they will know only for those who wants to talk to them. That's not necessarily which extends this their broad overview. So you all are welcome, and you're welcome to present. Yep.
Thank you.